If I'd have had this tool 7 years ago, I probably would not have gotten a felony robbery charge. You feel me? Listen to me, bro. Let me have a real conversation with you. Your is ruining your life. What if I told you that all your money problems, your weight problems, your relationship issues, your confidence issues are all connected to your Napoleon Hill says the men of greatest achievement are men with highly developed sex natures, men who have learned the art of sex transmutation. Let me explain what I mean by this. Now, when a man is not in control of his sexual urges, he is essentially broken. He is compromised on the deepest level. He's not effective, and honestly, he shouldn't be trusted. His woman is probably not gonna trust him. His kids are not gonna trust him. Without this part of his game in check, he's probably always gonna be operating at about 50% of his potential. And that shit is not cool. So in today's video, I'm gonna be sharing some personal shit with you guys. And I'm sharing this stuff with you guys because I'm hoping it's gonna give you a very unique insight on some struggles that you may be having in your personal life. Because honestly, bro, you and I are not different. We struggle with the same things. I've had to overcome the same hurdles that you're probably overcoming right now. And I want you to listen to me because I've been where you are. I've been through the mud. I've been through these trenches. And this video is going to give you a blueprint to transform your entire world, just like it did for me in the last 100 days. So in this video, I'm going to share the details of how 100 days of semen retention has absolutely transformed my life on the most drastic level. Before we get into the details, go ahead and leave the video a big thumbs up. Hit the like button right now. It takes 7 seconds, guys. I appreciate you. Thanks in advance. So here's the question. Why did I start this semen retention nofap journey? So after I ended my relationship earlier this year, I wanted to work on my discipline. I wanted to increase my focus. I wanted to become more effective. I wanted to level up. And listen, I also wanted to address and to heal some of the shit that I learned about myself in that past relationship. And I knew that if I wanted to take my life to the next level, if I wanted to attract the love, the relationship, the success that I wanted, I knew I would have to fix some of this shit that I noticed about myself. So it is now day 102 of my nofap journey, and I'm gonna share with you guys what I noticed, the differences that I noticed in myself and the world around me. But before we get into that, I definitely wanna thank my sponsor, Teach Hanley, because without Teach Hanley, you see this beautiful skin right here? It would not look like this. Teach Hanley gave me the blueprint. They gave me the roadmap. They actually gave me a system to follow because before Teach Hanley, I had no skincare routine. I personally started with their level 1 system, and I think you should too. It comes with a daily face wash, an AM moisturizer, a PM moisturizer, an exfoliating scrub, and it has a few other things in the package as well. The thing I love about the Teach Hanley system is that they make it mindless. I don't have to think about it. It comes with this card that outlines exactly how to use the system. It tells you when to use it, how much to use. You pretty much don't have to think about it. You just have to follow the instructions. And because Teach Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they have a special offer for my viewers. If you click the first link in the description, you can get 30% off your first box, as well as a free gift. So take advantage of it right now. Thank you, Teach Hanley, for sponsoring today's video. All right, so the first thing that I noticed, and this was about 3 to 4 days into my nofap journey, I noticed that masturbation was making me weak. I never really noticed what the thing was that triggered my urge to off. And after the first few days, I realized the only time that I had the urge to off was in moments where I was experiencing some sort of mental or emotional challenge, right? I was feeling some sort of pressure, and I would use off to escape the pressure. Now, as a man, I think when you avoid the pressure or the challenges of life, right? Whether that's mentally, emotionally, physically, you are doing yourself a great disservice because a lot of the growth, a lot of the utilities that you develop, they are developed in the middle of the challenge. So when you do things to avoid the challenge, you're essentially making yourself weak. So the second thing that I noticed was a decrease in my ADHD symptoms. Now, I've been dealing with ADHD since I was a little kid, and my focus and my productivity over the last 100 days has skyrocketed. I mean, these benefits kicked in maybe about 10 days in. So what I first noticed is when I was reading, I would be able to read for longer before I needed to take a break. You ever read and then you feel like this pressure building up in your head and you kind of just need to put the book down and walk away? So that usually would happen at about page 20. And now I didn't notice that I needed a break until about page 30 or 35, which is a game changer for me. And I also noticed that I started reading faster. I started understanding more complex material. And I also started retaining the information way better. So the third thing I noticed is that my sense of humor kind of got better, right? I became a little bit more charismatic. I had a little bit of wit happening. And I'm like, yo, my brain must be feeling a lot sharper right now, because in conversations, especially with strangers, I would come up with the slickest shit to say, right? The little funny things that wasn't really a part of my repertoire before, right? And this made me more interesting and magnetic, which of course attracted more attention from females. And obviously every nofap video talks about how you become more attractive to females. I'm not gonna talk about that, that's a given. But I definitely noticed an uptick in my charisma and my sense of humor. So the fourth thing that I noticed was an elevated sense of self-awareness. Now I'm generally a self-aware person, but my self-awareness has gone to the next level. I now have an increased ability to see myself from a third-party perspective. Now, what I mean by that is, I'm able to observe my thoughts and my emotions and even my behaviors like I'm watching myself on a movie, or like I'm watching myself from the perspective of someone else. Like if I'm watching someone else's behavior, that's how I can kind of see my behavior. I hope that makes sense. With this increased sense of awareness, it allowed me to see myself when I wasn't being fully authentic in conversations. And also what I noticed when I was feeling an extreme emotion, I was able to identify the exact thought that caused that emotion, right? Which is a game changer, because it kind of breaks up the power of the emotion and it gave me more emotional resiliency. I was able to manipulate, I don't like that word there. I was able to control how I responded to my emotions, which essentially gave the power to me and took the power away from my emotions. I hope this is making sense, guys. This is all life-changing shit, because if you can control your emotions, especially as a man, you can control your reality. You can control your energy. You can control so many aspects of how you show up when you can manipulate and control your response to your emotions. Emotional awareness and emotional resiliency is probably one of the most powerful tools that any man can have. If I'd have had this tool 7 years ago, I probably would not have gotten a felony robbery charge. You feel me? And what I also noticed was that things that I used to care about, things that I would have given energy to in the past, I simply do not. For example, it got back to me that someone that I know lied to someone else about me, said something that just wasn't true about me. Prior to nofap, I think I would have handled that situation a lot differently. The way that I handled it this time was I didn't care. No part of me wanted to address or correct the situation at all, right? I kind of shrugged it off and kept it moving. I feel sturdier emotionally, right? I feel more sure of myself. I feel more confident in my identity. So I did not feel the need to defend what I know is true about me to anyone else. I don't care. If whatever someone else want to say or think about me, that's on them. The things that are true about me are going to be true whether the people involved in this situation know it or not. Right? And that's different for me. That level of emotional maturity, that didn't exist prior to these 100 days. So the next thing I noticed is that my ego has been deflated somewhat. And this is a good thing. So since my genuine confidence has increased, I feel less of a need for my ego. The ego is usually there to defend you or to present yourself in your best light. I don't care. I don't need my ego to do that, right? Like I don't feel the need to talk about myself. I don't feel the need to brag about my accomplishments. I noticed that I don't post as many thirst trap pictures on Instagram. I feel more humble and secure. So the other day I was going through some of my old YouTube videos and it was almost cringy. I was looking at myself and I noticed that I was literally talking from my ego. It was about me, 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 me. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I'm thinking to myself like, Brix, yo, get the fuck over yourself. But really all that was a slight hint of insecurity coming to the surface. But I would have never had the awareness of this had I not taken this nofap journey. So I definitely noticed a shift in the role that my ego plays in my life. Now let's get into how my life has transformed, because bro, everything is different. If I rewind the clock back 100 days, I had just signed a lease to live in Mexico, right? And during meditation one day, and this would have never happened had it not been for nofap, I got this download, if you will, or this nudge from God to have a conversation with my kid's mom. And I'll fast forward the story. I now have full custody of my son. He lives with me full time. That's one of the biggest transformational things that has happened during my nofap journey. Another huge transformational thing is I've attracted the most profound love experience I've ever had. But of course, I'll get more into details a little bit later, right, in another video. So I want to close this video with a few tips, right? Because I want you to understand that this nofap journey has been over 2 years for me, right? It started off with a 5-day journey and then maybe a 14-day journey, right? These streaks build upon themselves. If this is your first step into the nofap world, I don't want you to expect yourself to be able to do 100 days. It doesn't really work like that, right? Streaks build upon themselves. What you also want to do is set an intention and just settle in. A lot of us, we put a lot of stress, we have a lot of anxiety around these expectations for what this experience is supposed to be like. No, don't do that. Really just say, okay, listen, this is the mode that I want to live in for this season of my life, and I'm just going to let whatever is supposed to happen, happen. You got to try to detach from any particular outcome because it doesn't work like that. And you also want to be mindful of your environment. So if you have a goal to not have an orgasm, to not have sex, to not jerk off for a certain amount of time, don't put yourself in situations where you have these temptations, right? Just be mindful, be strategic about the rooms that you put yourself in, the people that you surround yourself with. If this goal is important to you, you have to have that level of intention and strategy. What up, squad? Thank you for watching that video. Look, my weight loss process was a hell of a lot harder than it had to be because I did not have someone who had walked the path guiding me. And that is why I'm super passionate about my online coaching program. Look, I'm getting goosebumps right now. And right now I'm taking on clients, so go to brixfitness.com, sign up for a discovery call. And if you're not quite ready for coaching, I also offer my 12-week transformation jumpstart program, which is the most comprehensive, I mean, A to Z. I take you step by step through the process, right? This program is brilliant. It has transformed so many people. Again, coaching, 12-week transformation jumpstart program, both at brixfitness.com. There's also unique links in the description below. Thanks in advance for allowing me to be a part of your transformation. All right, peace.